It seems it's not important to ask the question, who am I? I already know it, and it's my picture is there in the passport. That means how little you know of yourself. From that point of view, you are just a mortal being, one in trillions of lives. Today you are, tomorrow you won't be. Is that all? That's what all the thrill you have in your life. Allow your thought to go after, who am I? Om Yogena Chittasya Padena Vacham Malam Sharirasya Cha Vaidyakena Yopakarottam Pravaram Muninam Patanjalim Paranjaliratnatosmi. Offer adorations to the best of sages, Sage Patanjali, who gave to the world the scripture of yoga for purifying the chitta, the mind stuff. Also, he gave the scripture of Vaidyaka, Ayurvedic medicine, for purifying the body. And he created a scripture of grammar for purifying the speech. This is the picture of perfection. Your body should be well planned, well designed for attaining liberation. It doesn't matter how does it look. You have to have good health. Your heart must open up to the beauty of the world. Your pranas must flow in a very harmonious way. Your body and mind should be well designed. And that's again is in your control. If you want to. How you find yourself is always based on how you have planned. Nobody else is responsible. Never make your parents responsible for your defects. Never make the world responsible for your defects. No finger pointing. You point one finger, 3 fingers point to you. There's a proportion. In Raja Yoga Sutras, I'm going to deal with 17th sutra of the first chapter, Samadhi Pada. The topic is Samadhi. But prior to this, we have explained 2 important disciplines, abhyasa and vairagya. When you deal with your mind, in order to attain certain degree of achievement, twofold movement, detach, attach. Detach from negative things, detach from negative values. Detach imply remove all that is demoniac, all that is based on lower self, and attach to all that is good within you, potential, that is divine. The detaching aspect is called vairagya. Go on developing an inward sense of detachment. A detachment should not be viewed as being insensitive or hard-hearted. The sky is detached from the clouds. The sky is the best guru, teaching the art of detachment. But have you seen ever the sky being angry with the clouds. It allows all clouds, silvery ones, dark ones, thundering ones, quiet ones, all float. And it has absolutely no problem with them. That's the ideal of detachment to be reached by every human being. And these things are innate in you. In the beginning, it will seem like a mountainous job. When you start working upon it, you have the potentiality. You are the soul, ray of God. The vairagya must develop. And you develop it gradually, progressively. And we have explained that. And abhyasa must develop. Satu dirghakal nairantaryam satkara sevito dridhabhumi. Abhyasa is that you adopt a spiritual discipline, but do not set your mind to a certain duration of time. That I will do prayer every day. And I set before me, if I do it for one whole year, then maybe still more progressive, 3 months. If it doesn't benefit me, I will give up. Then that's not abhyasa. You never set a limit to your eating, to your breathing. Never say, I will eat nutritious things for 5 days, or say 30 days, and then give it up. If I don't get strong, that's the idea is that first must realize there are certain things that should become a part of your life, just like breathing, eating. Integral yoga is the plan of your sadhana. Your sadhana must involve 3 aspects of your personality, major aspects. Most practical aspect is karma yoga. How to live in this world, handling duties in such a way that heart opens up to sublimer things. Action well done brings about chitta shuddhi, purity of heart. That's why God has created. Your duties can be of all types. Serving a patient, consoling a person, advising people, guiding them, or just praying for them, depending upon different circumstances. But God has so planned you can't sit just in one place. Your body goes on moving. Jahi vidhi rakhe Ram, tahi vidhi rahi. Whichever way you find yourself placed in the world, don't complain against it. Rather understand this divine privilege to be in human embodiment. And how to handle your situation with a deeper understanding, because it becomes worship of God. So, spiritualizing your actions, karma yoga, that's one aspect. Along with it, bhavana, your feeling. How to allow the feeling to blossom, to become profound. You begin to understand you are loving God in human beings. You have 2 types of love to deal with. Love on the basis of your your personal identity. You're a father, you're a mother, brother, sister, whichever. That way, that type of love has its own role in society. And it's practical. It impacts upon your heart. But while that practical love must be handled in a proper way, you must go deeper into it. Just like the sky handles the cloud, but it goes deeper into it. Transcends the cloud. I will not go deep into that sky business. Try to understand that you are loving God in your relatives. The source of all love is God Himself. And therefore, properly understood, a mother will take care of children with tremendous love. And that love will not restrict her from attaining enlightenment. Once you begin to understand that whomsoever you love, whomsoever you serve, apparently personality relates to you on the basis of your ego, but profoundly every person, every object is divine in nature. So you are being led to love God by little samples of relations. As I was explaining the integral yoga, the next aspect is devotion to God. Sanskrit term is devout meditation. It has two aspects, devotion and meditation. That meditation aspect is what I'm going to talk about. Devotion, bhakti yoga. And the fourth is jnana yoga. How to allow your intellect to have clearer understanding. So when these four aspects are considered three aspects, three, karma, upasana, jnana. Upasana aspect, bhakti, becomes two. Meditation, devout meditation. These are all details. When you are practicing in day-to-day life, action, right performance of duty, you're doing your japa, meditation, developing devotion, and gaining insight into who am I. It becomes a blend of jnana yoga, raja yoga, bhakti yoga, karma yoga. That's the message of the Gita. Once you have adopted it, go on living that life day by day. There is no limit that now, after so long, I will stop it. The fact is that if you became deeply enriched, even enlightened, the idea will never come. Now, since I'm already enlightened, I should give it up. That idea will not come into the mind. Seventeenth Sutra. Vitarka, Vichara, Ananda, Asmita Roop, Anugamat, samprajnata. These are samprajnat samadhi. I will explain. Samprajnat is the lower state of samadhi. Samadhi is superconscious state. It is, broadly speaking, two types. Lower, higher. No highest. Lower samadhi is of four types. More precisely, 6 types. All the detail will come to you later. But here we are focusing on 4 aspects of the lower samadhi. In day-to-day experience, Movement to samadhi is characterized by bhavana, the way your mind feels from a profound point of view. It's a blend of intellect and heart, the blend of head and heart. Intellect and profound feeling. The feeling has a different function than intellectual analysis of things. But just like in music, a lot of mathematics go into creating all the musical language. And music and mathematics blend to create melody. Heart and head must blend to create a spiritual melody. If you have created a melody, then there will be no problem. Your life will be thrilling day by day. Not going too much now in that direction. Your bhavana, if you watch your feelings, things that occur in your mind. Vitarka, feelings that oppose good conduct. Ahimsa, satyam, brahmacharya, asteya, aparigraha, 5 yamas and niyamas. They give you an outline of righteous conduct, practice of non-violence, not to hurt anybody, sincerity, truthfulness, purity of mind, not entering into perverted desires, not to be greedy. Mind moves in these directions, then bhavana within you becomes extremely polluted. No one can live without bhavana. There is always mind is planning, is scheming, imagining. A thief has his bhavana. How wonderful it would be. I could get into the house and exactly know where all the money is and break into it and get all of it. It's bhavana. And he feels a thrill at each level. That bhavana is durbhavana. But you don't have to be a thief, you see. Even normal people, your project is to become super norm. Normality doesn't satisfy yogic mind. Your mind has to allow you to become liberated. So if you watch your mind and then try to see how long anger stays in your mind. What do you do when you are provoked? If you sit back and you start planning to revenge on the person, and if you don't have all the ideas in your mind, then you find someone's help. We talk about it. And that's called durbhavana. And that is Vitarka aspect of the mind. Mind is never satisfied, just shaking, shimmering, and wasting its energy. The right course, pratipaksha bhavana. First to realize, to notice, this is not helpful to me. This doesn't become me. This anger, this hatred. I, whose heart is going to be a divine temple, why should a roach enter into it? Why should pollution enter my heart? That type of counter movement must start within you. So you are not accepting it. So just to give a simple example, just using anger. First stage, suppress. Do not allow it to express through your speech, through your action. Keep it in the mental level itself. Substitute, but trying to hold that anger thought, that itself will waste your energy. Because then your mind will say, I should find when did I first notice my anger. You need a help of a psychologist. But then you may become more clever to find when this experience came, in which birth. And you are going into a vast world of distraction. Instead, simply, this is not me. I am embodiment of love, a ray of God. So mind should switch to a positive counter thought. Instead of anger, forgiveness, love. And you go on switching again and again, no matter how many times your mind turns, switch it back to the positive within you. That's it. The moment you begin to do that, you are moving towards saintliness. And then what happens? Sublimation. That anger energy becomes sublimated. And your mind enjoys the victory over anger. It enjoys experiencing immense satisfaction. Seeing an enemy revenged, that gives you satisfaction of a gross type. Seeing an enemy changed into an angel. And by your own patience and persistence, that speaks of the glory of your soul. When you glorify your soul, you feel wonderful. When you degrade your soul, you feel miserable. So how to handle vitarkas? That's the answer to it. Whenever the mind moves that way, negative way. When you begin to succeed in this direction, and negative ideas come to your mind, but you are able to handle them. You have come to first level of samadhi, vitarka. At this level, you are able to handle contradictory sentiments, emotions. Then comes the next level, vichara. Vichara level is thoughts enter your mind and you feel much better. Vichara level is on a higher level, just like you have gone into a higher story of a building from where you are able to see more. But here again you encounter sadvichar, asadvichar. Intellect probing into things that are degrading. You can be highly intellectual. But then your intellect may develop the idea, let me find the defects of others. Let me find the footprints of the thieves. Your intellect, if it is healthy, turns towards discovering your own defects and try to remove them. And allowing your thinking process to become more and more magnanimous. That is, Vichara is enhanced by satsanga, good association, study of scriptures, guidance, spiritual guidance, and it opens for your mind a whole forest to be explored, a forest of divine glory. Nothing can give you a greater joy than having clear thinking in your mind. You can repeat that. Kabira man nirmal bhayo, jaise ganga neer, pache lage hari fire, kahat Kabir, Kabir. As long as the mind is muddled and the clarity of thinking is not there, God runs away from you. You want to go, you find yourself experiencing intense suffering. And then you hear from others. Turn to God, surrender. You go to the temple and God runs away from you. What does it imply? You go to the temple, but what you find, you are looking at others. You are interacting with others. Your mind, no matter where you go, you are ultimately allowing your intellect to be dominated by negative thoughts. But if the mind becomes purified, this is the statement of Kabir, mind became purified by devotion, by your daily sadhana. Pache lage hari fire. God goes after you. You don't even have to remember him. He reminds you, I'm with you here. The divine presence is a perpetual presence in your heart. Majority of people always feel that somehow God has run away and have to go to a Kedar, Badri Kedar, through a lot of trouble, and there may get the grace. And they do, led by their own mind. But the fact is that if you have that clarity, if you have the influence of satsanga, learn the art of reflection, then God, in all his majesty, is right there in your heart. Man changat katvat me ganga. Your mind has become positive. Then even in your bathtub, you see the Ganges water flowing. And you see Lord Shiva's head come up. On the other hand, if that clarity has not come, you go actually to the Ganges and Himalayas. But you will hear dogs barking, vultures hovering over your environment. I'm not discouraging the idea of pilgrimage. That's always wonderful. But what I'm trying to say that if you're not focused on your mind itself, then you are not gaining anything. So if you enter into that level of vichara, First, you have to overcome Vitarka level, the mind that goes on, coming under the influence of negative qualities, anger, hate, etc. As you begin to control that, Vichara begins to develop. Subtle points, who am I? What's the goal? What's the nature of the world? In dream, your consciousness is splits up in three ways. The dream subject, the dream world, and the dream experience. All the three are illusory. Same applies in your day-to-day life, in your waking state. What you know of yourself, you don't know. Vichara is needed to know, who am I? What do I really want? Generally what happens, people have very dull vichara. It seems it's not important to ask the question, who am I? I already know it, and it's my picture is there in the passport. That means how little you know of yourself. From that point of view, you are just a mortal being, one in trillions of lives. Today you are, tomorrow you won't be. Is that all? That's what all the thrill you have in your life. Allow your heart to go after, who am I? Deha buddhya tu dasoham. As long as you view yourself as the body, go on developing the idea, I'm an instrument in the hands of God. I'm a slave, he is the ruler. Jiva buddhya tvadanshaka. When your mind comes to focus on, I'm a ray of God, then develop that, I'm a ray. God is like the sun. And there is a constant inner link through japa, devotion, surrender. Atma buddhya tavaivaham. But go beyond mind and intellect. The I am in you is absolute. In that realization, you break three illusions. The illusion of your subjective presence, I am this personality. The illusion of the world is real. You know, even science tells you the world is not the way you are seeing it. The unreality of the world doesn't require philosophy or religion. It's every moment science goes on explaining that. The world is a world of vibrations, energy, and all that. Your experience of the world is only through these 5 channels, 5 senses. If one of the 5 is gone, you're 1/5 of the world gone. 2 senses gone, 2/5 of the world is gone. And we'll not go further in that. Unreal you, interacting with the unreal world, the experiences, no matter how immense or impressive they may be, they are also just illusions. जो सपने सिर काटे कोई बिनु जागे दुख दूर न होई. So Vichar becomes clear. How to allow your intellect to focus on who am I? Your intellect is your flashlight. You're directing towards the deepest project. Who am I? And all that I do in the world should be in harmony with that question. Then you have attained Vichara Samadhi. If you go further, Vichara leads you to a stage of being centered on your own being. And that has a stages. Now first you are centering on the ego within you. Ego is stripped of egoism. The moment you have reached that state, there is tremendous joy. Just like a person who has been carrying a big burden and the whole load has been taken away. You have found the key to the kingdom of heaven. You know the whole matter lies with your ego sense. Then you come to deeper level, Asmita, the cause of your ego. The cause of the ego is non-discrimination. Your intellect is not purified enough to separate the self from the not self. The body, pranic layer, pranas, mind and senses, intellect and ego, and your unconscious, these are not the self, they are not self. Vedanta gives you the teaching, you are beyond the 5 sheaths. You are beyond the 3 bodies. That type of insight develops. And that's called Sasmita Samadhi. You are in a state of enlightenment to understand I am close to the absolute self. When will this I drop? A river has come to the ocean, to give a figurative language. And there is only a momentary deviation. The moment the ego within the river moves away, the river has become the ocean. If you come to the Asmita level, you come to the climax of lower Samadhi. Speaking from another angle, your ego becomes increasingly transparent. 3 gunas should be studied. When you have tamasic ego, your ego is extremely dark and crude. You can't see anything beyond your ego. You are completely overwhelmed by it. In Ramayana, it's represented by Kumbhakarna. When ego becomes rajasic, rajasic ego is more like Ravana with 10 heads. And sattvic ego is like Vibhishana, who has been friends with those devil brothers, but suddenly he turns to Rama and abandons them. When ego becomes more and more transparent, the vision of the self becomes, it waxes. You get more and more experience of Atma, Atmarati, Ishwararati, the joy of being the self. That joy is always in all your experiences. That is the real sap that enfolds you in all levels, but it has become extremely polluted. We talk about Vishayaras, Atmaras. Vishayaras, the joy that you receive through senses, through the fulfillment of desires. Its root lies in the divine joy joy of the self. But the divine joy has become polluted. It has mixed up with your samskar, just like a pure water coming through a rock. And it mixes up with various sediments that pollute that water. So ultimately the water that comes out is very polluted. So water that comes out, the joy that you experience at this level of the senses, in conjunction with objects of the world, that joy is Vichara, keeps you in a state of ignorance. But now through Samadhi, you are coming to discover the source of all joy, pure Ananda. You realize even staying with the purest ego is not as joyous as shunning that ego and being one with that joy. So these are lower samadhi, vitarka level, mind that has corrected itself from negative thoughts. Vichara level, intellect that is becoming more and more thoughtful. Ananda level, you have come to realize that all this doesn't matter. Your whole focus should be at ego level. And all your karmas are not going to obstruct you. The treasure is right in your hand. It has given you a sense of great relief. But actual relief comes when you dig out the treasure. Then you come to Asmita level. You are now in a very close conjunction with the highest enlightenment. And I will leave you with these four. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.